Okay, so I have kind of decided that I'm not a huge fan of the word alcoholic and how it is like traditionally been used in society. For some reason, with alcohol and alcoholism and alcoholics, we make this word attached to them forever. Everything else you can separate from, but for whatever reason with alcohol, we have to carry this weird identity around with us. And I think it's because society normalizes alcohol so much. I think that's actually a testament to how normal alcohol is in society, how expected we are as human beings to be able to drink it without getting addicted to it. But just like caffeine and just like nicotine and just like cocaine and just like, sugar and anything else that gives us an endorphin rush like sex or social media, there is a massive potential to get addicted to it. I have noticed with the term alcoholism is that we put way too much emphasis on the person who gets addicted to it rather than the substance itself. So you don't see that when people give up sugar that they're a sugarholic for the rest of their lives. You don't see that when people give up coffee, like I decided to stop drinking coffee. At the time when I was drinking coffee, very addicted to caffeine, very addicted. I would never consider myself to be a caffeineaholic or a coffeeholic today because I don't consume it anymore. I used to smoke cigarettes, not like I would never own my own pack. I never had my own Juul, but when I would get drunk, I would go walk around bars and bum cigarettes off people, or I would like rip my boyfriend's Juul or my coworker's Juuls and just smoke them here and there. I never bought my own, but I went through that whole process of like, I'll never touch it to like, okay, I'll touch it sometimes, I'll have some, to the point of like, now I need it, now I want it, now I'm thinking about it. I realized I was very addicted to this thing, this nicotine substance. I stopped smoking nicotine, a while ago. I don't even know, like it was over a year ago. And I would not consider myself a nicotine-aholic today. I would not consider myself a cigarette-aholic today by any stretch of the imagination. At the time when I was smoking cigarettes, do I think I was like a nicotine-aholic, I guess you could say? Yes, I was definitely addicted to nicotine. Like my body was craving it. I had habitually started smoking it. My body had adapted to it being in my body and it wanted it. And when I didn't have it, I had withdrawals. And so at that time, like for sure, I was addicted to it. But now that I don't smoke nicotine, like I don't have any desire to smoke it. And I don't call myself a nicotine-aholic or a cigarette-aholic because I'm not. But for some reason with alcohol and alcoholism and alcoholics, we make this word attached to them forever. So like for me, I decided to stop drinking when I was 25 or 26 years old for a lot of different reasons, but I was a social drinker, and looking back now, I definitely had alcoholic tendencies. You might even go ahead and say that I was a functioning alcoholic. I never would have considered myself that at the time, but objectively, if I'm looking at it, maybe, I would go out on Fridays and Saturdays usually, that was pretty much it, but I would probably binge drink at least once or twice a month. It progressively became more. I'd black out, I'd brown out, day drinking and that kind of stuff. Like I always loved alcohol being there and I wanted it to be there. Like I craved it being there. I didn't notice the cravings because I was expecting it every weekend, but if it wasn't there, the thing that I was doing was maybe like less fun for me. Or we needed to go figure out how to get alcohol. So I would say at that time, I was definitely addicted to alcohol, even though I didn't maybe acknowledge it quite the way I do now. But I was expecting alcohol. It was a part of me. I was addicted to it. And if I didn't get it, I noticed it and I didn't like it. Today, though, now that I'm 3 years separated from drinking, I do not want alcohol. I do not care for it. I don't think anything of it. I'm neutral to the concept of alcohol. But I would never consider myself an alcoholic today. So you don't see that with anything else. You don't see that when people give up sugar that they're a sugarholic for the rest of their lives. You don't see that when people give up coffee, like I decided to stop drinking coffee for 3 months. I made another video about this one here too, if you guys want to watch that. But I was, at the time when I was drinking coffee, very addicted to caffeine, very addicted. When I stopped, I went through hell and high water to get there. But now that I don't drink caffeinated coffee anymore, and it's not something that I have on my daily, I would never consider myself to be a caffeineaholic or a coffeeholic today because I don't consume it. People are addicted to alcohol, and we might think that that's because that's the type of person that they are, but we don't ever really start to question like alcohol itself and the fact that it's ethanol and it's used as fuel and all these various things, and it's highly addictive. We have such a, I think, all of us, an intimate relationship with alcohol for our own reasons. We've used it to celebrate and to bond and to share great memories. And there's a lot of great times that alcohol is included in on. So I think we all have this kind of like connection with alcohol in a way that maybe we don't have it with other things, plus the branding that comes with alcohol. And I think that makes it so that society looks at the person as the problem. That person is an alcoholic because they can't hang and they get addicted to it, rather than the substance actually being the problem. And again, I think that becomes part of our upbringing, what we've been brainwashed to believe about alcohol, our intimate connection with alcohol, and so many other things. So that is partly why I'm not a huge fan of the word alcoholism or being an alcoholic. I don't see any need to, if you've separated from alcohol, like we don't need to attach that to our identity forever and then not live the rest of our lives as an alcoholic if we haven't touched alcohol. If you're prone to being addicted to alcohol, that's because alcohol is addictive. That's because that's what that is. And usually, for me at least, there was a void that I was filling with alcohol, whether that be loneliness or I didn't know what else to do with my time, or that's just what I did habitually, whatever it is. But when we fill that void, we realize that the alcohol isn't so much a need. It could be a want that sometimes we have here and there if that's a lifestyle that you so choose and you're happy, healthy, sure. For me, that's not something that I want to do because I know that I will just continue to get addicted to it, and then I will fall into the rabbit hole of just constantly drinking alcohol. But now that I'm separated from it, I don't need it. And I would not consider myself an alcoholic whatsoever. So if any of you guys can relate to this, I'm curious, go ahead and like drop comments below, because this is my opinion on it. This is how I see it. If you guys, if you are considering a life without drinking, I talk about that kind of stuff all the time, as well as other things like exploring the carnivore diet, because it's literally changed my life, or giving up coffee. So if you're interested in basically challenging this matrix that we live in and these paradigms that we live in to live a better, happier, healthier life and do that kind of journey with me, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to see you on there. We have awesome people in this community. If you guys did like this video, go ahead and please like it so that the YouTube algorithm can get it out there so that others who might need to see it, can see it and benefit from this kind of stuff too, if they're kind of questioning their relationship to alcohol as well. So anyways, you guys, I appreciate your time as always, and I will see ya on the next one. See ya.